Live here. Alright, we should be live right now.
Right.
And I said should be, but I'm just checking. Let me see.
Right. Right. Yeah, I hear us.
Okay, cool. I always give myself a minute to check that. So we do know it's not for nothing. Yep, you ready to go?
Ready to go?
Okay, nice. Alright, listeners, welcome to Unresolved Crimes. I'm Frank, and I actually studied this one, so here comes the intro. And joining us today from all the way overseas, living in the first country that landed a man on the moon, our amazing, hardworking vape shop employee, and of course my partner in crime, Heather.
Everybody.
Well, today we got a head scratcher of a case, Heather. The Delphi murders.
Great.
Are you familiar with the case?
And of course, we've talked about it before.
Well, then it kind of gives that away, right?
Yeah.
Well, for the listeners, I will kind of do a filling in so the people actually know what we were talking about. That's always handy when you like discuss a case, and then do not tell people what it's about.
Right.
Okay. On February 14, 2017, the bodies of Abigail Williams and Liberty German were discovered near the Monon High Bridge Trail, which is part of the Delphi Historic Trails in Delphi, Indiana. For the people who do not live there, it's in the United States. After the young girls had disappeared from the same trail the previous day, the murders have received significant media coverage because a video and an audio recording of the individual believed to be the girl's killer were found on German's their smartphone. Despite thousands of tips, the case has never been solved. That's kind of frightening, isn't it? That there is that much evidence. Well, it's not. Well, if you look at the pictures, for example, and even the full video. Well, it's not the full video because I think a full video is like 50 seconds long. It's only a slight segment that you actually see, and you cannot make up who it actually is. I tried enhancing it, and experts tried to enhance it, but it's just way too pixelated. Although there were a couple of sketches, one in the beginning, and I think it's in the slideshow that I made, and I cannot really see how they could make a sketch out of that.
No, and honestly, I don't feel like the sketch looks like the guy at all.
Because it looks like he's wearing a hat, and then it doesn't look like a hat. Then it looks like he's wearing a hoodie, but it also could be a cap with like long sleeve thingies behind it. That doesn't make sense. Well, I always go way too deep in my own thoughts, I guess, with researching these kind of cases. So the Monon High Bridge is kind of off trail, so it's off limits for well, it's just off limits. And a lot of people actually go there. There's a trail that leads to there, but because of the deterioration of the bridge, people don't actually walk on it because it has like huge gaps between it.
Hey, it's railroad ties.
Yeah. And then you see this guy, well, according to me, it looks like 40-ish, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
his walk and his stride makes me think he's a little bit older. It looks like he maybe has some pain in his legs or lower back or something the way he walks.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the police also said because of the gaps between the railroad, that might explain the way he walks. But you can definitely see a distinction in the gait that he is walking with, and that kind of it looks like he is indeed an older person. And in the video recording, well, I suggest people search them up themselves because it's kind of eerie. And well, there are actually two segments. The first segment was only the three words "down the hill," And then in another news conference where they published the newer sketch, they also let loose that the newest segment of the fragment that is being heard is only guys. So when you play the full clip, it's guys down the hill, but it's different pieces. But it's the same guy, according to the police. What's interesting though, a lot of times when there's like a murder investigation, they pretty much release the way they got killed. And in this case, it's not that, well, it's not the case. The police have not released details on how the girls were murdered. But in the search warrant that is online, and I think the murder sheet asks for that, also another podcast, really good one. It said the way the girls were killed, they had a lot of blood loss, and the way they were killed, the suspect or the killer definitely needed to have blood on his clothes. So that kind of indicates that, well, it wouldn't be like a shooting or I guess. Kind of get a feeling like it's knife related or blunt force trauma or something like that. Well, if he gets blood on him, on the way the wounds were. But that's just a theory, though. I mean, of course, we don't have.
Right. Maybe that's what they were searching for in the river the last few days. Was maybe a weapon of some sort to match however they did perish.
Well, see, that's where we come in the theory of Keegan Klein, of course. And Keegan Klein, that is a person who lived in Peru, I think. Yeah, that's where they did the river search as well, right? And it's a 40 miles drive, I think, from where the girls were actually found. And Keegan Klein, that is, he got caught. And he's not a prime suspect in this case, though. That's another case, but it is linked, people think. And Keegan Klein is now in jail, or in custody at least, for child pornography. I think on several accounts actually. And the theory was that they are searching the Washby River. I'm not sure if I say that right.
I'm not sure either, but that sounds good.
Mm-hmm. And he's also linked because he had a fake Instagram or Snapchat account called Anthony Shots, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
That had last contact with Libby. At least that's what they say. That's the theory behind it. And you can see all the transcripts, for example, the police interrogations, really interesting. And this guy does not seem, well, he also said in an interview that he did that because he felt lonely. And now people are blowing it more up that he's part of, some sort of international group of child porn. So that's interesting, and that's why it makes a link to the Delphi murders. But he's not a full-on suspect. They did ask him about the Delphi case, and he said he had nothing to do with it. And what makes me sick to my stomach is that I told you, right, about this Keegan Klein. Oh, you posted that link that even though he's in jail, he has like this phone, and you need like to pay for it in order to contact him or to text him. That he sends the most sickening things, especially to interviewers who are women. And he's asking, can I jack off of you and that kind of stuff. So this guy, he definitely has an issue. And I'm not sure if I included him in the slide, but if you look up this guy, you can see why he felt lonely. But, well, anyways, there has been another suspect, but he died in 2020, and the part of the Monon Bridge that the girls were found, or at least in Deer Creek, was, I think it was Logan something. He owned the property of where the girls were actually found. And people also suspected him. Like, see, and that's kind of the thing, though. This is an unsolved case, so people are not guilty and proven innocent. I was just gonna say, but yeah, that's right. But this guy was also in prison for, I think, driving with a suspended license. But he died in 2020, and he had like a real similar gait. But then, when interviewers, 2 days after the girls were found, they interviewed him, and they asked him as well to say like down the hill, and it did not match at all. But that was their leading suspect. But yeah, fair enough. If it's not him, then there's still a killer at loose, and not just a killer that killed one person, but a double homicide. You know what intrigues me, Heather, about this case? That's multiple things, actually. It's the way the girls were found, and apparently the way the bodies were staged. I mean,
Which they haven't really released a lot of info on that. Just that there
no.
was blood loss,
Yeah.
and then like a text message or two between the person that found them is the only thing that we got to go on.
Well, I did a little bit of digging into that, and
Yeah.
after Libby and Abby were missing, there was an initial search that night, or it was pretty late at night, and so people were searching in the dark, and I kind of feel like how hard that could be, of course. So I think then the next day, so the 14th on Valentine's Day, they did another initial search, but it was unofficial. So a lot of people from the I think the I cannot remember it, but a lot of volunteers got into groups with also German, her sister Kelsey, and they were searching near the Monon High Bridge, and then other search party was looking at the creek, and then another search party was looking in the Delphi city itself. So first off, they found a shoe. So somebody asked or yelled what shoe they were wearing. It was a black Nike, and it was indeed a black Nike that they found. And what I'm not kind of getting my head around is the way they got found, because there was apparently a guy that was also a friend of the families that was in that search party. He was, I'm not sure if he was the one who found the shoe, but anyways, they did. It's, when he looked over to the other side of the creek bed, which is laying north, they were pretty much, the bodies were found near a body of water. And, well, they knew what the girls were wearing at that time. And this guy, he looked over to the creek bed, and he saw like two deers, and he saw something else, but he couldn't really see it in the distance. So he took out his phone, zoomed in, and then he saw the bodies laying there. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Was he brought in for questioning or
There,
anything?
there,
In an unofficial search, a family friend found him. And usually things that happen like this is within the family or a family friend. So,
I agree. And the FBI released a document where it said, well, there was a lot of blood loss, and the bodies were kind of laying in a way that it looks like a signature.
okay.
And there was,
But they haven't released that, have they? What
I
what
think,
that signature is.
I think, no, they did not. But
Yeah.
if you also watch or listen to the podcast Down the Hill, which directly covers like mostly of this stuff, really interesting.
Hmm.
They also say that they were missing some clothes or something that was a personal attachment to the bodies. That
Okay.
the killer took a souvenir.
Right.
What does that say about a guy? Then it wouldn't assume to me if you commit like a double homicide, like, yeah, I'm gonna take something. That
Yeah.
wouldn't be my initial
That's
thought, though.
definitely on the long lines of serial.
No, exactly. See, and this guy, I'm wondering. See, that is kind of the doozy with these kind of cases, and so they were at the end of this trail that was kind of leading to nowhere. So they crossed that bridge, and this guy just followed them. You can even see a picture that you can see a guy in the distance. So he did follow these two girls, and I would assume that if I was that young though, and especially just crossing a high bridge, that if a stranger just follows you, I would run away or something. But apparently this guy just had the power, or he could just be an adult, that he got these girls to actually follow him. It might be under
Maybe
threat,
he was
or
charming like Ted Bundy.
yeah, that could be as well. He could be like really persuasive and just lead them to somewhere. For example, I don't know, might sound crazy, but for example, down the hill is a unicorn or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
so well, this whole case is that much interesting though, because a lot of people, it's been, like I said before, it's been huge covering in the media, and people still have like no clue what's going on.
Lots of
That's
questions, yeah.
yeah, like that's the kind of information we are getting out of this case. So yeah, I wonder though, why would you stage somebody or stage the bodies like that? Because apparently they were killed in a different area, and I'm not entirely sure if there was water in the creek or not. Were the bodies, were they naked? Well, and then the wounds, of course, but that's something we're probably not gonna find out soon. And I kind of get why they discussed that the suspect could be the landowner, because that's
Which
the
they did interview him.
yeah, they did interview him, but he was just being cleared. They didn't really like link him to these murders.
Right. But who's to say that if he's the property owner, he didn't have a pact or, an agreement with whomever did do this to be able to be on the land.
Yeah, he had a lot of horses, I think. So
Yeah.
everybody just could go in and go out. But then again, the whole way, for example, and that's kind of the thing that is bumming me out, is that he followed these girls, right? But then it's not in the direction where they were found, so you need to go over a creek, and that's where well, he didn't kill them there, so I'm curious, where did he kill them? I'm guessing directly down at the hill. I'm not sure if there is like any evidence to compel that.
It couldn't have been too far, honestly, because it happened one day and they were found the next day,
Yeah.
So I mean, he didn't have time to like take them somewhere to like a house and do all this and then deposit them back. Like, that's a lot of work for somebody to have to do and go through. So I feel like it probably happened somewhere close.
But that's the theory, though. When they searched, they think, that's a popular theory, that somebody in the search party that night moved them. I mean, it was only a small town, though. I mean, I don't know how many people are living there. 3,000, yeah.
3,000 people. Everybody knows everybody in a town that small.
Mm-hmm. And I do believe that it's local, definitely, especially with this weird ass trail that basically nobody knows of, and that's what the person says who does like the expeditions of tourists and that kind of stuff, giving out maps, and they say, yeah, Monon High Bridge is not that popular. So yeah, and the way he is also dressed, it kind of was too much. It was kind of overkill. Like, he knew he was gonna do something, then take like his jacket off to appear like different.
Yeah.
So yeah, oh, I just realized that I have like a total wrong image in the slides. Okay, let me remove that one because it's actually from an other case. Then you can see like the bodies laying white sheets, but that's not the good one. Is this one? Yeah, I think it is. But yeah, then we come. Well, I laid that out to you, that theory with the police officer. So I was listening to Down the Hill podcast, right? And each time you had this chief superintendent. I'm not gonna call him by name because I do not want to assume that anybody is a murderer or something. But I just found out something strange. So I was listening to him like all day. They have like a few episodes, like 17 or something like that, or even 19. So he kept saying something in the beginning, and then he kept on talking. So I watched his interviews as well. I was like, yeah, it sounds really familiar to the recording. Like, you have that way, right? When somebody talks, it sounds like really familiar. And he is like so calm in every single thing of them. And I find that extremely interesting. So I sent you that comparison, right?
Right.
What do you think about it?
I think it sounds very similar.
It does,
However,
right?
he is an older gentleman as well, the chief. So I think maybe that kind of ties in with how I believe it is an older man who participated in this. It does sound similar, but I'm no expert. I can't say whether it is or not.
No, exactly. But I was just sending you that just in case I'm not going crazy or going too obsessed with these cases that I'm hearing strange things. But yeah, I found that really similar, and I found that extremely interesting because the way he acts, like in interviews, like he owns the stage, kind of implicits to me that he, I don't know, it's just weird. That whole guy, that's just weird, and that's the lead investigator of this case. It wouldn't be the first time that a serial killer would be a cop, you know. Just saying.
Right.
So yeah, what do you got more? Oh yeah, well, they got dropped off by her sister. That was near the. Let me see. I got this on County Road 300 North, east of the Hoosier Heartland Highway. So the girls needed to walk. Walk or hike to Monon Bridge over Deer Creek. Then they crossed the bridge. Then at the end, assumingly the perpetrator spoke to them. And what's really brave from Liberty though is that she made a recording, and I kind of guessing that you hear like muffling sound because she had the phone in her pants, I guess.
Yeah.
So you cannot really make up what the purpose saying like all the time, but they cleared it up. So now it's pretty much down the hill. But what would make somebody want to kill these girls? What would be the motive? See, that's what I'm keep asking myself, because we know so little about this case and so little information is about this case. It's all assumptions. Like, were they naked? Then it's sexual motive, right? Then you can search from there. And that's where, for example, Keegan Klein comes in as well, because he had, after all, had contact with Libby. And if you configure that into what we know and where they were found, it doesn't or did not seem as like a coincidence. Like, you have a few murders, right? One that is based on coincidence and one not made on coincidence, and that's kind of like a debate that we, especially people on Reddit, have. That they think it's targeted, that they got like lured into there. But then again, the sister of Liberty, Kelsey, she actually spoke with a friend that was also near the Monon High Bridge, and that's why they wanted to go there. So if she
Yeah.
spoke to that friend, wouldn't that kind of like suggest that it's a coincidence they ran into this guy?
Yeah.
But yeah, all sorts of wild theories are there. I read a Facebook post where a guy blamed his brother for this, and they spoke to like the state attorney and to the police about this. But that has been like 2-3 years ago, and this guy is actually now in jail for and I'm not feeling sorry for saying this because he deserves to be in jail. Especially for a long time, but he actually committed a sex offending crime with a special need daughter.
Ooh.
And he kind of he doesn't look that way. But if, for example, you blame your brother for this, and you say, yeah, he was at that point there, I mean that's interesting, right?
Right. And then for the anonymous person with a rusty knife to deliver that, and then the cops tested it and find out it's not the girl's DNA. That's just a little weird.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Well, let me see. What do we have more? Oh yeah, in 2019 they.
You were talking about Hockenberry, right? The guy that's in jail right now for the other stuff.
Yeah, that Hockenberry guy. And I tried to contact his brother, but he's like nowhere to be found as well.
Right.
And I think the Facebook post also got deleted.
Yeah, it's just a screenshot now, I think, that I found on like Google Images of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see it like on Google that his brother claims that he did it. But yeah, that was interesting to look at. And I'm not even sure like where he was talking about Waterloo or something like that he was there. I'm not sure if that is like near Delphi.
Yep.
And then you have obviously a few days ago they were doing a great search in the waters of Washby, and indeed about the Keegan Klein case that I think his attorney said they are waiting for something and that they are in negotiation.
Negotiating what though?
Yeah,
like a plea bargain?
I think so. But yeah,
then they know a lot more than they're letting on to. They're just waiting until it goes through the proper hands in the judicial system before they let everybody else know.
No, but that's the thing though. They do know a lot more, because if you look at that second sketch, how? Yeah, Cryptex is just saying that they are negotiating. But that's the thing though, that these two are different cases though. I mean, is he negotiating for that child pornography case? Are they looking for that stuff in the water? Is it, for example, hard drives, USBs, you name it, maybe even a laptop? Who knows?
Yeah.
Because you had like this smart dude. I needed to laugh at that because that's so true. He was an ex-FBI agent. It's like, yeah, people tend always to stand in the middle of a bridge to throw stuff away. And that's not the way to do it. So I laughed my ass off when he was saying that. But yeah, I totally agree, Cryptex. It looks like to be related to Delphi. I definitely agree with that. Oh, by the way, I can see chat in YouTube, so.
Gotcha.
No, but definitely people or the police also think that they that this is a local, and that's a scary thing though, because you also hear that superintendent saying you might be in this room. That could well be. And I think they have possible reason to actually believe that. But who else? But like I said, this trail is pretty not that well known, unless you're a local, of course.
Right.
And I'm also wondering, is this guy like some sort of? Why would you bring a knife into the woods? Not to carve "I love you."
Like a kitchen knife? Nah. But anytime I go into the woods, I've got a Gerber or I got my little purple knife on me just in case I get myself into a sketchy situation and I can get out of it.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. But I always look for like
But I am a girl. Right. I'm a girl wandering in the woods, and this is what happens to girls who wander in the woods. So, I'm gonna do what I can to protect me.
But they did it. Did this once in a while. Live your grandma told that once in a while they walked outside there because Delphi was only that small. Wasn't that really much to do?
Right.
So what do you think? Is this a coincidence or is it planned?
I think it was planned. I think it was planned for sure. Like, this guy went into whatever his mental state was and made up his mind about what he was going to do, and it just so happened that those two beautiful little girls were in that path of his.
Oh, a confession by Keegan Klein would facilitate the whole legal process, and he could avoid the death penalty. Yeah, that's fair. But he's not being the main suspect right now, right? For this case, or is he? I mean, often the police get you like from a small other case, like tax evasion, that sort of stuff, and then ask you like slightly towards the case that they actually want you to hear. So, from what I'm understanding, Keegan is actually being quote unquote the main suspect in this case because of the last conversation he had through Snapchat, right? With the fake account. Yeah, he has been interrogated. Yeah, I saw the transcripts.
Yeah, like I've seen the size of that guy. I've seen pictures of the mugshot when he got arrested. He doesn't look like somebody who's going to be trolloping around, a broken railroad track. He looks like a big guy who just sits at a computer and is a nerd. He does not fit the profile of somebody who's going to go outdoors and do outdoorsy stuff.
No, exactly. That's exactly my opinion as well. Hold on, let me pull up a picture of him so the listeners can actually see that as well. You wouldn't, nah. This looks nothing,
that
nothing like the guy.
Looks nothing like the two sketches that they made.
No, definitely not. And he even gained weight in prison. How about that?
Well, people must be sending him money so that he's got his commissary and can get all the good stuff. Because I went personally, the time I went to jail, I lost weight. The food was horrible. It was hard to eat. It's just enough to get you by and sustain life. So to see him gain weight, like he's getting all the goodies. He's getting all the goodies.
Mm-hmm. And he is actually asking for money for interviews as well.
Which blows my mind. But Sherman Tyne did the same thing. So.
No, exactly. Yeah, he gained a lot of weight in jail.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of the thing, though, because he's now in custody of the Indiana police, right?
Right. I think they transported him from the other jail.
Yeah. So that's peculiar at least. And he can even text to people. Well, if you're
There's a rat under your truck. I just saw him run under your truck and run back that way.
Told you.
Oh. Oh, by the way.
Sorry. Yeah.
She's working, so. I was like, what truck? I don't even drive a truck. No, but that's really interesting. But then again, you have like a lot of speculations on who it could be, and people point like most. If you have that sketch, right, and it's a sketch, it's not a photo, and the sketches cannot be a 100% right. It's a distinction on how the person looks like. So people are going on Facebook and trying to go through the Delphi community and just picking random people out. Yeah, this guy looks like it, and some of them they do look really alike, like scary alike.
Yeah.
But then again, if you go back to the staging of the bodies, right? What does that say about a perp? Would that be like his first kill?
I don't know if it's his first one, but it's definitely a ritual. If he stages it, it's part of his plan.
I mean, that's so significant, though. That totally reads serial killer all over it.
Yep.
And hold on, no, exactly. That's what I was saying. Then you have, of course, that Logan guy, that people, the property owner,
Yep.
that they also say that looks like the sketch.
But that sketch is so vague. It's so bland. You put that up, that could look like 50% of the male population.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, I was also discussing with somebody about what you might be wearing, and you cannot see it. It could be anything. Could be like this English hat. Could be a regular hat. Could be a hoodie with a cap on it.
Yep.
But then again, you have like so much evidence, like physical evidence that we can actually see. So we have the recording, the video, and still this killer is on the loose.
Yep.
And then it's not one person that he killed, it's two.
That we know of.
Yeah, what we know of, yeah. All of this, I think they found DNA. And
That's good.
they're not specific on what kind of DNA. And that wouldn't make sense to me, though. I mean, for example, if this is a stabbing, then yeah, that has to be physical contact.
Yeah, I think I read in like one of the forums or something that one of the girls had DNA under her fingernails. Like she gave up a fight, she scratched. So
But
maybe that's the DNA they're talking about.
But indeed, we do not know if the DNA sample belongs to the killer. But then again, you need like a figure to compare that with. Otherwise, DNA is
Right.
useful.
Yep.
Or that had to be a struggle. But I'm wondering though, because there were actually people walking in that area. Didn't they hear like a scream or something like that?
I think because they went down the hill. Sound doesn't travel up and over a hill. Sound's going to travel over and out and down.
Oh, there's no struggle.
So I think any sound and all the leaves and all the trees provided enough silencing acoustic effects that it's possible that nobody heard anything.
Oh, in the FBI document it says there was no struggle. How crazy is that? So you lure in two girls,
Yeah.
do not resist at all? How?
Drugs?
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same, but how is that
They done a
possible?
toxicology report?
They that's still disclosed, like the whole autopsy.
Of course. Hey, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm kind of hinting that way as well. But how did he get it into these girls though?
Right.
There are like so many questions. Then again, I see one person being killed, and actually see how that will work. But two young girls, of course, you have
Right.
flight and fight reaction, right? But you also can freeze.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
I'm baffled. I'm speechless.
Definitely.
I've been thinking through that all day, and all of these kind of cases, I try to compare myself with either the victim or like the serial killer, and I can see like an a pattern or like an MO. I could like understand why he would go and kill that prostitute, for example. But in this one,
Yeah.
there were two girls. Were there like two perpetrators, maybe? I, I doubt that, because
Possibly.
if that is the case, then I
There would
believe
just
this
there
is
would be
planned.
more evidence, I feel, if there was two people involved, because that's more of a mess
Yeah.
for two people to have to look out for themselves. That's more of a mess. So it'd be more contained for one person.
Well, there were people who actually saw like two. Well, it looks like in one of the pictures that a guy is standing behind a tree, but that's just speculation. And I can, it's in this picture that it's on right now. In the distance, you can see like the guy that is going over the bridge.
And Cryptix is telling us that he was after Libby, like he didn't know Abby was there. So were the girls separated at some point?
That's a good one. That's the information we're not getting.
Right, and that's in the chat from Cryptix.
Yeah. No, but that's the question I asked before. Like, is this coincidence or is this planned?
I feel like you just don't surprise yourself with, oh, I'm gonna kill two little girls today. I feel like you make a plan and you do something like that. It's not just like, spontaneous.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And who knows? Might be chloroform as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Didn't even think about that.
Since there is no struggle.
Right.
See, a lot of people who do like sexual crimes, they have like a rape kit, and that's not like for doctors only, but people do actually have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, see, cryptics, I got kind of, kind of smart on lies sometimes. No, but I think that's a real good possibility, though. Since the FBI document said that there was no struggle, that would be a logical option for me.
Right.
That's why I really want to know what happened, though, because the police also has the full video, and like I said earlier, we only get like a segment that we're being showed.
Right.
And you can hear everything. The police officer said that it's terrifying, and I do understand that. But it might be crucial information. And
Yeah, definitely.
if they did not solve this case in 5 years, and I do understand like the way certain aspects of a murder investigation, that not every single information gets out there, but because of whatchamacallit, like the perp only knows he did that, so it's a secret for the
Yeah.
rest of the public, for example. Okay, hold on. Keegan Klein has been presented of being okay, and has that been confirmed, Cryptex?
Yeah, I did. I
Okay.
listened to Kayla's story in the Murder Sheet podcast. I listened to that this morning.
Oh, okay, it's confirmed. But yeah, this guy, this Keegan, he does not look like an outdoorsman.
No.
Holy shit! Hold on. Then look at this though. I'm gonna put it in the slideshow. This is a younger Keegan. Oh, I can see why this guy. I will also put it in Discord. Oh. Look at him. It does have a somewhat of a similarity.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does, right?
yeah, the way he's got his hands in his pockets and stuff, but I still feel like the guy on the left is 50 pounds lighter.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's kind of an optical illusion because of the clothing that he's wearing.
Yeah.
And when Libby, her dad, actually showed up, he spoke to a man in a flannel shirt. And he said that so he was looking for his daughter, right? And he asked if he saw two girls. Then the guy said no, but I did see two girls on the bridge. I mean, I think that guy in the flannel shirt should be searched at. And then the guy, or was it a couple? I thought I read only a flannel.
It was a couple. A couple, I thought.
Oh, a couple. Ah, fair enough. No. Mistaken that. And then, of course, you have like the strange case with the zooming in guy who actually found. The final a couple of girls. So not a couple, or a couple. Oh no, it's a couple. Okay. So a couple and like multiple.
At this point, I think the DA would be sweating a little bit because at this point, with the pictures are circumstantial. It's barely it's barely enough evidence to be able to charge him with this. But luckily, we've got the cell phone record from him and her, etc. But if he was only prepared to meet one girl and there were two girls there, chloroform would have done that trick. It would have done that trick in a heartbeat. And if it's in your system and out of your system so quick, it's not going to be listed on a toxicology report by the time they find the girls the next day.
Yeah, but then it shows that if the sphere that we are running around with, then it's definitely planned. Planned in a way that he was gonna do something to the girls, not necessarily kill them, but. No, the same. That's what we're good at here, Cryptax. It's speculation. That's part of the deal here. But yeah, then no. I'm wondering what kind of DNA they have. And if I listen to the story and look at the story, it kind of hints like one direction. But that would be like really stupid from the perp, though. And that can be transferred DNA as well. Yeah. But if the bodies got moved, if what they say is true, that the bodies are moved and staged, and he did it obviously with his bare hands, then it could be touching DNA. Well, they were outside there for a while, critics, until they found him. So it could be. Well, according to what the police officers say, that it had a certain hint of it being staged. The bodies were laying in such a way that the police felt that he took a souvenir and it was staged.
But they
Oh, the word is moved.
They
Okay.
did do the search of his house. They did the search of his property, and what was found, was there evidence that was found that would link the girls to him, that he actually did this? Like, were those trophies found?
But wouldn't you assume that if that was the case, wouldn't you assume that he would take his her cell phone?
That's a good point. Like, he left her cell phone in her pocket, but okay, yeah. The way it's muffled, I believe she just put it in her pocket.
Yeah. But the non-secular items indicates to me sometimes it's staging as well. Well, it's not a really the good word I'm looking for. It was more a signature. That's what the officer said, at least in the Down the Hill podcast, is there were certain signatures, and there were at least 3. Non-secular items, okay. But what kind of signatures?
Somebody remind me what non-secular items means.
I was just gonna ask. I was just gonna Google that. None. Let me see. But that's the thing, though. What kind of signatures? It could like indicate the whole motive of the guy. And if I look at signatures and then look at 2 homicides, I go, yeah, that's a serial killer. But I guess that's kind of common sense. But yeah, taking trophies, exactly. And they think they did because there were personal belongings that were missing. We're not sure what it is. Could be earrings, I don't know.
Secular is relating to or involving religious or spiritual matters?
I guess that's the kind of like, I don't know, getting a leaf off the ground or something. Just like to... They also speculate that there has been a video and photos taken of the murders being committed, but that's an assumption, though, and that's a theory.
An object in the mouth of the victim would be a signature, for example. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like taking a finger, or no, definitely. Signature could also be like the way that, like, say if somebody was strangled, the way they were strangled, with what they were strangled with, etc. That can be a signature as well of their process of how they did what they did.
Yeah.
A bite. Yep, a bite.
Could be as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Zorro, for example, has his Z has a signature.
Right.
But that's the thing, though. We are really being led on in this particular case, so that you do not have enough information to get like a full story on what is happening, or what happened.
No, not until the negotiations with whatever he's doing are done. Like, obviously they've got something on him, and he's negotiating a plea deal because it's really bad. And he wants to make it at least a little better for himself, for a prison sentence maybe, but
Yeah.
You know, if it's in negotiations, then we're getting really close. They're about to tell us everything, I feel like, but it's a shame that it's taken so long, like for the families especially.
Mm-hmm. But then, as you said, Cryptex, he was probably going after Libby. But from a distance, you do see two girls, right? What makes you then go through your mind and still go through with it?
Because he was lonely.
Fair enough. If it is indeed Keegan.
Correct.
No, but that's the thing though. I was talking about it earlier as well. Like if you keep certain things a secret, I do understand that because you do not want everything to go outside. But there's a lot. That's why I think chloroform is a really good.
Yeah, like anybody can make chloroform in their house. I'm not going to tell anybody how, but it's literally two very common substances that everybody has in their house that you mix together. So that's not far-fetched for me at all.
Or indeed just the thrill of killing. That could be it as well. And they got from what I'm seeing and hearing at least is that they got so brutally murdered. There was a lot of blood loss. But where did they get killed then?
Right.
I mean, the police.
Like in this picture in this day, there's no snow, there's no weather conditions where it washes away as it happened or something like that.
Yeah, they lost
But
a lot of blood.
there's a lot of blood deposited somewhere, and nobody found that.
Mm-hmm. I don't assume like he put up a sheet or something like that.
No, like
And
no. He doesn't. Under his coat, it doesn't look like there's a sheet stuffed in there.
it could well be. Could well be. We don't know that. But this is what bothering me though. So yeah, you have this. You see, you just saw it a second ago. But anyways, I need to make this slides longer so I can actually explain what I'm trying to explain. But so you have like they went downhill, and their bodies got found on the other side of the creek. How do you do that? Is there any water in that creek?
I don't know. Maybe during that time of year, it was in February, right? Maybe during that time of year, there's not a lot of water running through there until spring comes along.
I don't know, fair enough, but that kind of questions I do want to know because that kind of indicates.
Cryptex is telling us, yes, there is water. It's about 3 feet deep.
Okay, but they found a shoe. On what side did they find the shoe?
The other side.
The other side. So where they were found.
So they had to cross the creek somehow, some way.
But wait. Initially, the guy who found them used his phone and zoomed in. Then the shoe must have been found on the other, no, not the other side, but on the side where Monon High Bridge is.
Yeah.
Oh, there's helicopter footage.
Is there any indication that maybe one of the girls fell off the bridge during a struggle?
Could well be.
Because if you're surprised with two girls when you expected one, maybe the other girl started to put up a fight because that bridge is high. Anybody falling from that bridge is bound to die or get seriously injured.
Well, that's what they are not showing us, though. The whole autopsy is excluded from the public.
Yeah. Which I do understand. They are minors, and they're trying to protect the victim and the victim's family. I totally understand that. But I think that there's a lot more stuff here that if was, you know, let out to the public, that the public might be able to help a little better
But
than some teeny tiny little town sheriff department working on it. I know the FBI got involved too, after a few days, but
I
they
would
did not fall for it.
I would assume, right? Like if there is water, that the struggle would take place, even though if there is no struggle, that the shoe would have been fallen off. For example, if you use that chloroform, for example.
Yeah.
But then again, two girls, that I cannot really comprehend how that is possible. Any thoughts on that, guys?
What was that?
Yeah, you could have a gun. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good
Yep.
one as well.
In the grainy picture, it does look like he's got some pockets full of stuff, but that could just be his sweater underneath that's bunched up. Who knows? But with that grainy picture, it does look like there's something in his pockets in his blue coat.
I was discussing with somebody as well. Could also be a fanny pack, or even a gun holster. Although, odd place for a gun holster, but still.
Right.
Yeah, as I said in the
If you have a
beginning.
gun, you can kill a situation. That's
Yeah,
correct.
that is true, and that's what's so interesting about this case, though, because there are so
Are there
many
any
scenarios.
firearms registered to Keegan Klein?
Honestly, I do not know. Well, you said he moved from Las Vegas, I think, and then he moved back to Peru, and he used to sell medical marijuana. And kind of going from that side, I do assume that if you sell that kind of stuff, that you have a gun.
Not necessarily.
No, I know, but this guy looks like he has a gun.
Yeah, looking at that picture of his pocket, like it kind of looks like the outline of a gun. It also could be the outline of a cell phone.
Well, let's agree that he has at least something in his pocket.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I'm looking at this photo, right? That's on right now. So there is pretty much a body of water. How do you get two girls over there? Are we sure they took that shortcut? Or did they walk all the way back?
Honestly, I
Oh,
couldn't
knife
tell
pouch,
you
yeah.
unless
Totally a
there
knife
was a
pouch.
low enough part of the creek that they were able just to walk across it.
But then again, would that be like the ideal situation? That wouldn't be like, in my opinion, would be not the first way to get those bodies there. But it could also be afterwards, though. But then this guy has to be drenched
Maybe
in water, right?
in carrying them, one of them lost their shoe when he was carrying the victims to where he was going to let them rest.
Well, that picture is actually taken 2 weeks after they have been found.
Right. Okay, so on our little chat feed on the YouTube, Matt Jones is saying there is a sandbank apparently where it's shallower.
Well, then it indicates, right, that it's definitely somebody local.
Yeah,
How would you else know that?
you wouldn't. Like us, we don't know because we're not there, you know?
Mm-hmm. So maybe until this day, this guy just walks around here and goes like, "Yep, I know I did it, but I'm not gonna tell." Have there
Right.
been found, like, if there's a sandbank, then there should be drag marks, right?
I don't know. These girls were petite. This
I
guy
know, I know.
is not so much petite. Like it probably would be nothing for him to carry, you know, an 85-pound soaking wet little girl.
Oh, wasn't there something, guys, that something about footprints that they found?
Footprints?
Yeah, I think there was something about footprints. I read something about it, but it could be that I've read it on Reddit, and Reddit is not always that faithful.
I will look into that real quick.
Because a sandbank is soft, right? Not necessarily, but
Yes. All right.
oh, the footprints helped the search to find the girls, but they were already found though. That guy with the cell phone.
Right.
So there were
Private
footprints.
property.
Okay. Yeah, let me search that up as well. That's really interesting.
Yeah, so the footprints were found less than a mile from where the girls were found.
Okay. So that's downhill, right? That's not near.
The footprints are found.
What was that?
Sorry. Sorry, I was getting feedback because I've got my YouTube on as well.
No worries. So that's what I'm curious at. Where did those footprints get found? Because if it's no drag marks, then well, they weren't like drugged before crossing over.
Right.
But then again, they could be indeed because they were petite.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Footprints. Okay, hold on. What's this? Two bodies. Let me read this article. Two bodies were found by volunteers on Tuesday, less than a mile from the girls were originally dropped off. The bodies were found on private property, about 50 feet from the shore of Deer Creek. Sources tell the call six tell call. Okay, this is really weird written here. Six investigators that set of footprints are what? Oh, six sets of footprints. That set of footprints are what led volunteers to the area where the bodies was found. Okay, so that's what I'm not getting. Getting though, because if you listen to her grandma of Liberty, she said that a friend of hers was part of that voluntary search group, and that he found them because he saw two deers in the distance. And then he saw something, then he took out his phone, zoomed in, and that's how they found the girls.
Kyle Keener took some pictures near the crime scene, and you can see the footprints in those photos.
Oh, really? Footprints help the search to find the girls, and footprints nowhere near the bodies, as far as I know. They would have had to get up the bank. No, exactly. But that's my question though. If those footprints were found in the bank, for example, then that indicates that they went over there, right?
I would think so.
Okay, let me search these footprints. Where did you find them?
Let me look.
Okay, let me see. Oh, I'm getting a notification of myself that I'm live. No shit, Sherlock. Okay, oh, Kyle Keener. Okay, thank you. I'll look right into it. Okay, what picture am I exactly looking for? The footprint, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I see, I think one of the detectives. But see, there is, fair enough, there is not that much water, but would wouldn't you leave like muddy shoe prints?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, I guess that's my kind of logic. Okay, seen the photos. Really interesting. Yeah, there's at least from what I see in these pictures is that there's pretty much not that much water, but there is water. Although I cannot see any footprints. Okay, hold on. I checked this website before. Actes Rouge. Evidence. Okay, we got sketch. Fair enough. Just keep getting more interesting, guys. So we got no struggle. We do have footprints. Is there any signs that like the girls got tied up?
Sure.
Oh, there are clear pictures. Okay. Okay, let me check. Yeah, I definitely want that footprint video. Okay, so they zoomed it in. I definitely want to check that out. What photo is it? Can you like subscribe it? Is it the one with the detective on it?
I I saw it on YouTube, and it looks like Cryptic saw him on YouTube as well. It says YouTubers zoomed these pictures and the footprints are clear.
Okay, hold on. I definitely want to see that. Footprints, Delphi. Oh, wait. Are these reliable that I'm watching right now?
So until that next video, be safe.
Oh. Oh, that was clickbait. Okay, what video do I need to watch? Oh, the one with the detective. Okay, fair enough. Okay, got it. Okay, let me get it here. Where is he at? Oh yeah, I can see a footprint. Where the weed is like all laid down, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Kind of looks like something is being dragged over there, or is it just me?
Yeah, it does appear that way.
Interesting. But I couldn't imagine, right? Like, if I decide to kill two young girls, that I would go over a creek. Like, your shoes get all wet and that kind of stuff. And it doesn't look like this guy is wearing boots. Well,
Uh-uh.
but then my question is, wouldn't there be, like, muddy shoe prints?
There is a lot of leaves. There's a lot of trees there that lose their leaves. So I could only imagine that would make the crime scene that much more difficult to try to find more muddy prints per se, or find more evidence. But yeah, those pictures are pretty high quality. I think that's a reliable picture.
Yeah, definitely. But do you need to, like, climb up from there? Or is it, like, a little thing that we are not seeing that you can walk up to? Yeah, indeed. Good for washing away evidence. Oh, holy moly. He might actually could, if there's not that much, that's a really good point, Matt. What if, I'm just speculating right here, what if he killed these girls in the water? All the blood would just flow away, right?
Yeah, but with a blood trail running down the creek, dogs would smell that, and the dogs would have hit on that immediately and led him right to the girls.
There weren't any search dogs. After the bodies were found, the search dogs were sent away.
They didn't use the search dogs
No,
to find more evidence?
No. Well, I'm not sure about that, but at that day, the bodies were found. There was bloodhounds were on the way, and as soon as the bodies got found, they got sent off. I think that's a real possibility, though. If there is no evidence of these girls actually being killed where they were found, fair enough, they're being moved, but there has to be like a huge content of blood, at least.
Yeah. And then a weapon, if he stashed a weapon anywhere, like under a log per se, nobody's gonna see that with their own eyes, but a dog is gonna be able to smell the human and lead them to that. So I am baffled that they called the dogs away even after they found the girls, because they could have used the dogs. They could use the dogs to pick up the scent of the perpetrator.
Yeah.
You could use it for more evidence, etc. I'm blown away. That's a huge mistake.
But damn, I do think that he used that water. Because water basically destroys every single evidence. Wow. Might seem unlogical, but it kind of makes sense to me. But yeah.
Even if they just went in there with like a metal detector to try to find the weapon, anything, like but they used their eyes, yes, and that is a great investigative tool. However, there's so many tools I feel like they could have used more of.
You could have used water and maybe bleach. Oh yeah, you said something about bleach.
The bleach coincides with the whole chloroform thing. If he had chloroform, because that's one of the ingredients.
That I was about to say. Oh, I think we're onto something.
Hi, how are you?
I'm glad I have someone who's the woman equivalent of Breaking Bad. But yeah, if he used that bleach, then it's probably being chloroform. And that's an assumption, though. I'm not an expert on chloroform, but apparently somebody here is for their own
Does
legal reasons,
Keegan
I
Klein
guess.
have a vehicle? Did they search his vehicle? Did they, because like maybe he had supplies back at his truck. So he had to go back to his truck or something. I'm just speculating here, I'm just trying to find all avenues and ask all the right questions.
Law enforcement said that the scene was pristine, so it smelled.
Hmm.
That's
That means to
interesting.
me it didn't happen there. If the scene was pristine, it didn't happen there.
Yeah. So it was kind of
Because
too
with
too
that
plain.
amount of blood loss, there's got, there would be a scene.
But where did the blood go?
Exactly.
It's not like we're watching a part of Dexter, right?
Right?
If there is no evidence that they got killed somewhere and that they lost that many blood, then that blood has to go somewhere. And if it's not in the area, then the only logical way would be the river.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the police is being that silent about all these little things, because it's significant. Where their clothes, for example, found wet.
Yeah, they haven't released any of that. The only thing that got released was that screenshot of the text messages between the family member that found them. That's the only description of anything that we've gotten so far. Is that leaked text message.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not that crazy, right? Yeah, I think that's a huge possibility. Because if you look at it, that somebody lost a shoe and we're not entirely sure where it is, that if they did in fact go over that creek and there's like no evidence, even though if there is DNA, then that might be from the perp, like after you took them out of the water, maybe. Because not entirely sure how they both died, right? Is it the same cause of death? Yeah, I'm wondering. I do think water has something to do with it. A sharp object was used. Yeah, Matt just said that. It looks like a knife pouch. And you can be right, although it's kind of weird place, isn't it? Would it be like not more on the side? No, there was I don't think there was blood found, right?
I don't think so.
Well, if there was, then... Well, according to the FBI document, it said that they had a huge amount of blood loss. Oh yeah, I see where you're going, Matt. You're right. Yeah, some blood, yeah. How would the perp move back though? Would he go like the same way? Because that would be like too obvious, right? Like if you have like all messed up shoes, would you go back on the same slippery old railway track? Or would you go somewhere where you're actually familiar? Like in your backyard, for example. Yeah, I'm thinking about that too. I'm thinking about that too, honestly. Yeah, I looked at that map as well, and I thought, yeah, that's probably his escape route. Then it's the question, what kind of traveling did he do? Did he do it by car? I even thought for a second that the most logical option would be that if he had a car, that he would park it at that cemetery. Or is that too much of a stretch?
I don't think so. I that sounds like a possibility.
Or even a motorcycle, yeah, could be as well. Or even, how do you call those four-wheel thingies again? I was gonna say ATM, but that's not the thing that I meant.
A quad, an
A quad, yeah,
ATV.
ATV, yeah, there we go.
Does he have any of these recreational vehicles, motorcycles, car, truck, camper? Does he have any of that registered in his name?
That's a good one.
Did they check all of his belongings when they searched everything? I mean, I know when you get a warrant and it's for something along those lines, they're going to search for everything. However,
Yeah, Keegan.
there's been nothing released, nothing said about anything if they found stuff at his property or on his property or property he may have been in.
Well, if it would be, for example, ATV or a quad, then it would be logical to question the landowner, and they did gladly, but he never actually got, well, being a real suspect in this case. But that would be kind of obvious to ask him for that. But then that has to be like marked, right? I mean, that cemetery is not
I would
on
think there would be tire tracks.
Yeah, exactly. But that cemetery is not part of Logan's property, right?
No, and I'm pretty sure, like, if you drove a vehicle or quad into the cemetery on the designated path, it's not going to leave tracks as if you rode that quad through the forest.
Mm-hmm. But
So that's a very good possibility. He could have parked there, could have parked anything there, and then done all his walking to meet, and then did what he did, and then escaped through the back. It's a very good possibility. It's not too far stretched.
if I would be in this case, I would go for, if I know I was gonna kill two young girls or gonna kill anybody, I would not go the same way back in the middle of. Remember, it was in the middle of the daylight that he killed these two girls.
Yeah.
I would not go the most obvious route. I would
No.
go where my vehicle was closest to me.
Yeah.
And you know what? He might be actually. Oh my God, this makes so much sense. Hold on. I just mind fucked myself totally. So wrong. What if he did not follow the trail? But what if he was waiting like uphill, for example? You have like a little steel thingy like behind him, where the trail starts from the bridge.
Yeah.
He might have actually gone up and followed these girls, because they did take several pictures before, and there was no person to be found, only on one where you can see somebody walking in the distance.
Right.
So who knows? He might actually have been spotting for these two girls if they like met up.
Right. And he appears to be a catfishing queen, so that's not far-fetched either.
What if there is someone tied between Logan and Keegan? Yeah, that could be. But that's kind of the thing that I'm wondering as well, that if there is like a bigger group involved in this, and not necessarily only the Snapchat account from Keegan, but also they're looking into his father, right?
Right.
But he could have ties with Logan, definitely.
Mhm.
But then again, if Keegan lived in Peru, would you really drive an hour to meet up with two girls?
If you're that lonely, yeah.
I mean,
Hour's not that far.
well, pardon my language, but this guy seems like a lazy fuck.
Yeah, but a lazy fuck with easy targets.
No, fair enough, but he had to use a Snapchat account with an other profile. That's kind of
Which,
like...
you know, it just instills in my head that this isn't the first time he's done something like this.
No, fair enough. Lazy is not the same as unable. Yeah, fair enough. But I'm looking like his whole demeanor. His crimes were online based. So if you go ahead and kill directly two innocent young girls, that's kind of a whole stretch, don't you think? But it could be a possibility. I'm leaving all options open.
Right, but you got to think that if somebody with the mental capacity that believes having sexual relations with children is going to be an okay thing, then in their mind, they're going to drive any distance to get to their goal, you know, and it's absolutely disgusting that a predator is going to do that, but a predator's a predator, and that's, you know, they follow those predatory instincts, essentially. So,
Fair enough. And I'm still convinced I'm seeing a mustache on this guy. Like, I watched it frame by frame, and you see like a certain frame, see you do you see open is his mouth?
yeah, to me, it looks like a mustache with like a little goatee. Because it's all dark right there,
Or it could,
and nothing else is dark above his eyes, so it's not a shadow cast by his weird little bill on his hat.
a lot of people on Reddit would disagree with you. They say that it's a shadow, but otherwise he has a real long nose,
Yeah.
and that casts that shadow, or it's facial hair.
That's the good thing about Reddit, though, is that you can literally say anything about anyone or anything, and somebody somewhere is going to roll with it.
Yeah. But yeah, I totally agree with you, Cryptics. I think it's logical that he parked something near that cemetery. But then again, how did he get around? Did he go the same way? Like, did he enter the same way? Did he like cross the bridge, wait for the girls, then came back, then close them in? That's not too crazy, actually.
I think if he is the predator that he is, then it's a possibility. But I think in order to cover tracks, I think he would go a different way. There's less chance of somebody seeing you twice if you only go that direction once.
But hear me out. So these girls got found on the other side of the creek. So if he parked his, I don't know, his thing on the cemetery, right? So he white lined it basically to the bridge. You do not have to pass a creek for that. You do not. I don't know if there's like a trail leading to it. Yeah, probably. But I do not if it's from the cemetery. Then he probably went all the way around, killed the girls, then white lined it back to the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
So basically like in a circle.
A circle that he was very familiar with already.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think he was waiting, yeah. I honestly think he was waiting. Otherwise he would have been spotted by people who were walking there.
Right.
But what does that tell us, though? That it's definitely local. That's one thing we all agree on.
Mm-hmm.
But then, do we think that
Have we-
Logan has the capability of contacting one of these girls, if that is the case? Because have to keep in mind that Snapchat, depending on how you put on the settings, that it deletes everything on a certain while. Did they ever check the Google Map status for someone who has like his location on? Because through Snapchat you can actually look at the map where somebody is. He might have used that.
Are there any other missing girls in Indiana or Ohio? Any of the little surrounding states in that area? Are there any other missing teenage girls?
Well, let us check. Well, this one is found 2 days ago. Body found in searching for missing 4-year-old Indiana girl. Okay, let me read this. Oh. No, I do not want a cookie. The search for a missing 4-year-old girl with autism came to a tragic close on Friday in Indiana, after the state issued a silver alert. Oh, that's new. Thursday for okay, I cannot actually spell this name, but was believed to be in extreme danger after wandering away from her home. Plainfield Police Department announced that the body matching her description was found during a search by officials and local citizens. Do they suspect foul play? It does not say. Feature of what? Yeah, right, Matt. You would be hiding behind a tree. Lafayette. I think I heard of that case. Check. Lafayette, Indiana. Okay. Cryptic, can you be more specific about that case so I can search it up?
Oh.
James Brian Chadwell. Okay. Oh, I thought Chadwell was like the person narrating or something. Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah, he was also being really suspicious, right? But they did an enhancement of the sound, and it didn't compare like at all. But then again, the clip was so short that they couldn't make out if it was him. But that guy is indeed scary. The Maps feature, yeah, it was available back in 2017. It's not that long ago. I mean, 5 years sounds old, but And what they can do nowadays is that they can search on. Oh wait. I'm actually gonna correct myself. The cell towers were not able to get that good of a connection back in Delphi. A lot of police and that kind of stuff actually had real trouble communicating through a certain system. Well, Cryptex, I got an interesting theory for you though. Do you know? I was talking with this with Heather about this. I was listening to the Down the Hill podcast, and you know that chief superintendent, right? I think his voice really is similar. It
Well,
doesn't.
I'm looking at a picture of James Bryan Chadwell. I'm not sure. Um, it looks kind of similar to the sketches that they drew, honestly. And he pled guilty to kidnapping a 9-year-old girl, locking her in the basement, and then sexually assaulting her. So, and this is all in Indiana. This is all right next door.
Mhm. Oh, they did a voice analyzing of Chadwell's voice. He has like several media videos and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can.
And he's got that weird little mustache with that little goatee thing going on too, you know. And in 2017, he was still out.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. Could be him. Oh, it looks like he likes to go in the woods as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Let me see. James Bryan Chadwell II is a 42-year-old Lafayette, Indiana man who is accused of attempted murder. Ooh, attempted murder after police found an injured missing 9-year-old girl in the basement of April 19th, 2021. Authorities in nearby Delphi, only 50 miles away, are investigating him as a possible suspect in the notorious unsolved 2017 murders of the Delphi teens Abigail Williams and Liberty German. The information has obviously been shared with us, and our investigators are looking into him. Carroll County Sheriff Toby Leesenby, I'm Dutch, so excuse me, told that the Lafayette Journal and Courier. According to Good Morning America, the sheriff says that there's several factors causing authorities to look into Chadwell. Okay. I did know he was in jail for kidnapping, but attempted murder, I did not know that. Let me see. No, that's what I was saying, Cryptex. They did an analyzing, but the guy said that he couldn't really figure that out. Well, I'm guessing you're right, though. It could be the same person. Pit bulls. That's how they could meet each other. Yeah, indeed. Definitely. Oh, the police seem not to be interested in him. And who? Keegan or Chadwell?
I wouldn't rule out Chadwell, but I think everything lines up to Keegan.
Yeah, that's mainly because of his fake account.
And you know what? They've leaked Hunter Biden's computer contents, you know what I mean? And that is, anybody can see the contents of Hunter Biden's computer at this point online. So I believe this Anthony Schatz profile probably goes back deeper. And if they could just release some of that info, you know, I think it would make a clearer line or connection to him.
Oh, discarded him?
Yeah.
Indeed, the digital trail leads to Klein.
Yeah.
Does not necessarily make him a murderer, though. Wouldn't be the
No.
first time that somebody last met somebody and got away, because that does not necessarily make you a murderer. Didn't he leave? Didn't he? He lived in Peru, right? It's 40 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And this one reporter was saying when they did the research in the Washby River that he couldn't make a connection between 40 miles and then them searching at that river. But yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is that Klein claims that multiple people had access to the Anthony Schatz account, including his father. So was it a family thing that they were just rounding up these little girls to get pictures from them? Like, I don't understand why multiple people had access to this account to be able to do these things. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, Star, you're right. Hang them up on the highest tree. But indeed, there are like so many head scratchers in this case, and if we look, it's fair, you know, to look in like people who do child crime offenses. But the reason why they are looking into Klein as well is because he had like this Dropbox thingy with files with child pornography, and that is apparently not from him, but it was on there. So that's why they are kind of looking like in a broader spectrum, I assume. Yeah, but I mean, 40 miles away from where the crime got committed.
Which honestly makes sense, because if you're a criminal, you don't want to shit in your own backyard. You know, you're going to go somewhere else to do these things.
But then again, was Klein familiar enough with these kind of woods? Or did he like Google map it out? Could be a possibility as well.
Yeah. Like, he could have done his due diligence and research into how he was going to make this happen, because if he had been in contact with these girls, then, you know, it takes a couple of days to set up a meeting, etc. And in those couple of days, he could have gathered all the information he needed to do to let this play out how it did.
Okay, let's search a clip from Keegan Klein. Klein interview. Okay, hold on. There we go.
And videos. Tell me about Anthony Schatz. Why did you create that profile?
Thank you for calling.
I don't really know. I was just
How can I help
lonely,
you?
you know what I mean? Just talking to people. I don't know why I did it, really.
And were you ever trying to meet these girls in real life that you were talking to?
No, never.
Just 11 days after the murders of Abby and Libby, task force investigators served a search warrant on the home that Keegan shared with his
dad. Take a phone call real quick.
At the time, the FBI told the Lafayette Journal and Courier they found nothing to indicate a connection to the Delphi case.
Okay, once again.
Why did you create that profile?
I don't really know. I was just lonely, you know what I mean? Just talking to people. I don't know why I did it, really.
And were you ever trying to meet these girls in real life that you were talking to?
No, never.
Just 11 days after the...
Yeah, let's get the down the hill recording. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Okay, that scared the fuck out of me. I do apologize. I thought the video was over. It really looks like he had a calm demeanor, and I wonder if after he killed those two girls, that also was the same. And also, the police do believe that it's somebody that is from Delphi. Does not necessarily make it that way, though, but. Yeah, it's definitely too gross. I totally agree, Star. But that's just picking out easy praise. That's really disgusting.
Yeah.
But I wonder, though, there must be, from what I'm seeing at the photos where the bodies were found, there is like a little trail that leads to the cemetery. Because you can not really see it in those pictures. But there was a video that they were researching, right? Helicopter footage. Helicopter. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me just check this real quick. Oh, this is really good quality.
Fire ground, all my cell phone. Number 265 201 2666. 4 2666.
Fire Command, Carroll County. Command, Carroll County. 61 is requesting your TX. I have his number here, ready to copy.
Oh, this is where they found him, right?
2666 201 2665.
Okay, that's interesting. But couldn't the chopper like not spot them? Didn't they use like infrared or something?
Would infrared work on a cold body?
I guess it's the depiction of a body. I don't know.
I think after they were left out all night in the cold and then their body got room temperature, I think it would just kind of blend in with that infrared map.
Oh, fair
Because they
enough.
would be the same temperatures outside at that time.
Fair enough. But wouldn't you assume?
And in February, it had to have been kind of cold.
But wouldn't you assume if they were like wearing the clothing that they were wearing on the pictures, wouldn't it kind of be distinguishable between all the dead trees?
Possibly. But if it was staged, then...
You got this.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I see workers there. And they're in the creek. It's really shallow.
You too. See you later.
Bye, have a beautiful time. Oh, did he hear that?
Yeah, he said bye.
Okay. So that's that building that's abandoned. Didn't they find like a strange car there? But doesn't that make sense though if we theorize the theory that we have right now?
Right.
But I think the car was seen like at 12 or something.
Okay.
and I wonder. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, I can see why. There's like the bush is that thick. You cannot. You need to really look specific. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see why Logan was one person of interest. And if he indeed was just as Matt said, maybe they were in cahoots. But then again, Delphi map. Let's see if he hold on. Okay, so they were found there. There's a cemetery. So you do not, or you do have direct, oh, you don't have direct access to the highway. You go like into an underpass. I'll just near the highway though. So if you would like to flee, what would be a logical way? I could either be both ways though. Welcome back. I'm trying to figure out like a logical route that he might have took, but there are like so many sideways and that kind of stuff. That's kind of impossible. So yeah, most logical would be left or right, but that. If he had at least a vehicle.
Definitely. He had to get away somehow.
Agreed. Unless you lived close by.
Right.
But that's the other way we are thinking of the graveyard. The CPS building is, let me see, it's on the east side, right?
I believe so.
Then if he killed those girls, for example, he needed to go like all the way back. And it could be a possibility though. I mean, that's not the issue here. We are free-spirited people. We have open minds. Sometimes. But that car was parked there at 12, I think.
What time did it leave?
That's a good one. That's a real good one.
And do we have a description of that car?
It just notes suspicious car. But yeah. That's not helpful at all. No description given. Yeah. So let us sum up. What do we know about this case, or what do we assume? if there was indeed a smell of bleach, what are we thinking? I'm guessing chloroform.
Cleanup.
I wouldn't guess that somebody just had bleach in it with them. Well, might to clean up, but that's more of a that's kind of a thought pattern. Though. If he had bleach with him, then he knew he was gonna do something terrible.
Yeah, definitely premeditated.
Exactly.
100%.
Also, if he had chloroform, it could be premeditated.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we don't have to look into that chat wall anymore, though. Then you have Kevin Hockenberry was his name, right? But then I look at his mugshot, and I go like, yeah, that dude is way too tanned. But then I don't know how he was in 2016.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered pretty much most of it, didn't we?
I feel like it. And then some.
And my mind is kind of blank right now. I think I have all the information that I have right now. We almost have been talking 2 hours as well, so I'm all good. What about you?
Feel pretty good about it too.
Well, we have some amazing viewers though, and some good interaction with viewers. So thank you for that, listeners and viewers, obviously. But yeah, I guess that would be the ending, right?
Right.
Well, I heard it right, so I'm guessing that's right. Well, anyways, thank you for listening to Unresolved Crimes. Until the next one, hopefully.
Definitely.